Hello and welcome again. I am Kitty Howard from kittyhoward.com. I am a grief worker and bereavement specialist based in Canada, but I do help people online and through videos like this, as well as hosting workshops, retreats, and one-on-one situations. Okay, so right now this is part of our series of defining the myths that surround grief and bereavement. And today I want to talk with you about myth number 2 as given by the Grief Recovery Method Handbook. And that second myth is replace the loss. We're so used to accumulating things as a society, right? If we decide that we don't love the big stuffy couch anymore, we can go get a new one. And somehow that has, transcended in a way to our losses, our emotional breaks that happen when we lose somebody, lose a relationship through death or divorce, breakups, and even untangible or intangible situations like when we lose our own sense of trust and security and faith in the world and the people that we think we're supposed to trust but realize that maybe we can't. So, but specifically to divorces and breakups and to death, to speak to those three things, we still tend to suggest the replacement of the relationships. And we've said it, we've heard it, it's been said to us, right? When you're young especially, but I think all through our lives, if we have a relationship that dissolves, a romantic relationship with a partner, whether you're married or common law or not living together, people will always say, that's okay, you're still young enough, you can get married again, or you'll find somebody new, there's more fish in the sea. And sure, logically, that may be true. Maybe, you see people getting married at 80 in the news, maybe not all the time, but it happens, doesn't it? And yeah, is there time enough in our life to find somebody new that we would perhaps want to settle down? Possibly. Yeah, intellectually, that makes sense. But let's, again, choose not to dismiss the relationship that has just dissolved. All that time and effort and space that it took up in your life, in your friend's life, whomever that it is relative to. We put everything we have or can give into our relationships most of the time. Maybe not everybody gives it their all, but I think a lot of people do. And no matter how much effort went into the relationship, when a relationship ends through death or divorce or breakup, it hurts, and it hurts a lot, and it shifts everything around. It might mean that you have to change where you live. It might mean the job needs to change. Lots of people work together that are also in relationships, and a relationship ending can also mean the end of something else, like where you live or where you work or how you live and how you work. It may move a lot of things around, and then there is still this precious relationship that existed for whatever period of time that mattered. It mattered a lot. It matters a lot to you, to the other person. There's a lot of pain that's involved with it. So to just dismiss it out of hand and say, that's okay, don't feel bad. Remember that from before, from the other video. Don't feel bad. You can get a new one. You can find a new partner. You can get married again. Even after my son died, I don't think it was right away, but within a shortish amount of time, I had good-natured, good-meaning friends come up to me and say, well, you're going to have more kids? Not today. It comes from a good place. It's an element of support, but is it helpful? No, it's not. We can't replace people and relationships in the same way. You know, we can replace comfy couches. I can, if I decide I don't like this pattern, I can, you know, change it. I can go get it reupholstered. But people aren't furniture. And even pets, you know. There's a story in the book, in the Grief Recovery Method Handbook, that talks based on the perspective, of one of the authors who, as a little boy, had this dog who was his ultimate best friend. And you know, and if you're growing up and have children, or were a child once yourself, and I'm sure you were, you may very well have had a pet. And pet loss is devastating to an awful lot of people, and especially kids. It's often our first experience with death. I had the goldfish that we had to flush, you know, like these situations, these relationships, even with pets and animals, can be your horse or your, I have a friend that raised ostrich. I don't know if there's a plural for that. Anyway, we still create bonds with people and with animals because these are relationships that we develop. So in the story, the boy wakes up one day and his best friend in the whole world is laying in the kitchen on his blanket and has died. He's cold to touch. So he calls for his mother. And his mother says, oh, she doesn't know how to deal with it, and says, wait for your dad to get home. And so dad comes home and says, don't worry, son, don't feel bad. I'll take you out on Saturday and get you a new dog. You know how that sounds. And when your friend or yourself is having a divorce or a breakup and they say, don't worry, you can get a new partner. It's the same thing. You're dismissing that whole relationship and their broken heart, you know, or yours if this is your situation that you're dealing with right now. And same with children. You know, people will say, oh, don't worry, you've got other children. Well, it doesn't mean it hurts any less because another one has died. We can't be dismissive. We are, because that's what we were taught growing up. We're just repeating the same stories, the same statements that we heard when we were younger without giving them much of any thought. So that's what I'm encouraging with these videos, is to just think about what we're saying. How can you be a little bit more supportive? And if you're the one that's grieving, what can you tell your friends that would be more helpful, or your family that could be more helpful? Ask for time to share, to listen to stories. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're having this divorce, or I'm so sorry that your mother's died. I can't imagine what you're going through right now. Can I take you out for coffee, or have you over to my place, or come by the house sometime, and maybe you'd like to tell me some of your favorite stories about the two of you together. That's helpful. Honoring, again, the loss, the relationship that existed, all the time, and tears and laughter and love and anger and everything that gets tied up into relationships. Let's take some time and honor that and reflect on it and discuss it and cry about it and laugh about it. Let's take time. Let's not just be dismissive out of hand. It hurts, and it makes it hurt more. And it's why people tend to grieve alone. But we'll get into that in another video. So again, I'm Kitty Howard. I'm a grief worker, a grief recovery specialist. I am me, and I am here to serve you and help you in any way I can. My goal this year is to help 1,000 people grieve better, and I hope that these videos are part of that for you. I also offer support and group supports and one-on-ones and lots of free training as well. There's things that you can download. There's lots available. Please reach out to me at kittyhoward.com. You can find me on Facebook as well. Kitty Howard Lifestyle is my business page. And where else? You can email me, hello@kittyhoward.com, and we'll go for there. I'll see you in the next video as we talk more about the myths that surround grief and bereavement. Take care. Sending you love, courage, and radiance on your journey.